Hello, third graders, and today we're going to be practicing character traits some more. Now, I want to take a quick look at some different words we can use for character traits. Now, in third grade, we don't want to use simple words like nice, mean, or sad. We want to use more expressive words that gives us more detail about how they are as a person. So instead of saying nice, we could use bright, or cheerful, or caring, or charming. Tons of different kinds of character traits. Instead of saying mean, maybe they're being disrespectful, maybe they're being cruel, maybe they're being hateful. There's a couple in here that I want to talk about. How about sad? One is antisocial. Antisocial means that they do not hang out with other people. They separate themselves on purpose. Another one is glum. That means that they have a very dull personality. Let's see another one. Does a lot. Maybe they're adventurous or ambitious. They like to reach towards new goals. Or energetic. If they do very little, maybe they're indifferent. They don't really care if they do it or not. They're indifferent. Or they're just uninterested to do other things. Here's some more positive and negative character traits. A good one is responsible. We talk about this a lot at Glen Acres, to be responsible students, taking care of our own things, taking care of our body, making sure that it's staying inside our personal space. Dependable, meaning that you do what you're supposed to do. You are a dependable person. If someone tells you to go finish your work, then they have confidence in you if you are dependable, because you're going to go do it. You don't do anything else. Some negative ones, let's see. Immature means that you do childish things. So maybe you still play with your food. That would be an immature character trait. Confident, assertive means that you would stand up and go do it on your own. Let's see if there's any good ones. Nervous and anxious are synonyms. They mean just about the same thing. Some other opposites, so you could have calm, you're relaxed, that could be your character trait, or hyperactive and you want to do everything right now, or very funny and you make people laugh, or very serious and you only talk about important factual things. Or maybe gentle, or very rough, or glamorous, or simple, or shy, or loud, or quiet, or noisy. This page will be on our class kick, and I want you to look back at it if you're ever trying to come up with your own character trait for the reading we're doing today or in other assignments. All right, so for today, we are going to be reading a story about Almet and his birthday. As we're reading, I want you to be thinking about character traits of Almet. After we finish this assignment, on the next page, we're going to be comparing and contrasting the beginning of the story to the end of the story. So I want you to think about how he is in the beginning, what his character traits are, and then how he changes as we continue to read. Let's begin. The night before his birthday, Almet was so excited. He was bouncing around his house like he was LeBron James basketball. Almet ran to his brother's room and yelled, "Tomorrow's my birthday, loser! So you have to be nice to me all day long." He left his brother's room laughing. As Almet was headed to his sister's room to tell her the same thing, he heard a knock on the door. He ran to the door, assuming he was a friend coming to wish him a happy birthday. But when he opened the door, he saw his great-grandmother instead. Now I want you to think about, how is his character right now? I don't think he's very positive. Right now he's kind of mean. I would say he's kind of disrespectful and maybe a little rude to his siblings at the beginning of the story. Let's continue to read. "We didn't think you were able to make it," Almet heard his dad say happily behind him. We're so glad you're here." Almet trudged off to his room. He disagreed with Dad. He wasn't happy to see his Nana at all. Now he would have to be quiet all the time because his Nana didn't like a lot of noise. As he was lying on his bed feeling sorry for himself, Almet noticed his dad in the doorway. "Son, Nana is going to need to sleep in your room tonight. You can sleep on the couch." "What?" Almet shrieked. "No way! Tomorrow's my birthday, not Nana's. I should get the bed." Also very rude. It was no use. Not only did Almet have to sleep on the couch, but he also was grounded from the TV all the next week from being disrespectful to his great-grandmother. I'm going to highlight that word because that will help us when we are looking for character traits a little later. Let me find where it was. He was still angry as he drifted off to sleep on the couch. That night, Almet had a dream. He dreamed that his family went to visit Nana for her birthday. Almet knocked on the door, and he saw Nana peek out behind the curtains. "Oh no," Almet heard Nana mutter. I'm not letting that spoiled boy, little boy, into my house." Nana let everyone else in his family come inside, but he had to stay outside. He watched sadly through the window as his family was laughing, singing, and eating cake. His brother and his sister looked his direction, pointing their fingers and laughing at him. Almet was miserable. How could his family do this to him? Almet woke up with a start. It was still dark outside, but he had too much energy to fall asleep. He couldn't believe how poorly he had treated his family. He ran to his bedroom where his Nana was sleeping and burst through the door. "Nana, I'm sorry for how I treated you. Thanks for coming to my birthday. I'm so glad you're here." There was a loud snore. His Nana was still asleep. Almet giggled quietly as he walked out of the bedroom. He'd have to apologize to Nana and the rest of the family later. Now, it looks like he changed after he saw his dream. After he saw his dream and felt the same kind of things that maybe his family felt. At the end of the story, he wasn't necessarily mean anymore. I think he was pretty forgiving and maybe a little bit upset. So let's see if we can find a good character trait for how he was at the end of the story. He was a little bit more positive. So maybe he was more respectful. He was more loving, more kind. On our assignment today, you will have to, if you need to read this again, you can read Almet's birthday and think about how Almet's character trait changed from the beginning of the story to the end. Cut out the rectangles. We're not going to cut them out. You're just going to use the words on the bottom and place them into the Venn diagram. Then answer the questions below. A Venn diagram compares two things. You have two contrasting sections, means that they're different, and one part where you're comparing, meaning they have the same. So in the beginning of the story, he was pretty disrespectful, right? He was disrespectful. At the end of the story, he was loving and kind. How was he during the whole story? Let's think if any of these character traits fit how he was the whole story. I think he was kind of excited the whole story. He was excited for his birthday. He was very energetic for their whole story. So that would go into the middle where we would compare and see what happens in the beginning and the end of the story. At the bottom, there are two questions. What was the most important change in Almet? How did he change from the beginning to the end? You can speak this or you can write it. What caused Almet to change? What caused him to change? What happened that now he has a different character trait? Okay, so once again, these words on the bottom, you're going to place into the sections on the top and then answer the 2 questions. See you all later.